in child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection. Okay, and that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This is someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
Were there signs there? Were there no signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Hi, everyone. My name is Georgette Truan. I am the host for Relatives Fight CPS, and I also work for attorney Vincent Davis. And I have my lovely co-hosts. Please introduce yourself, Cassandra.
I'll go.
There we go.
Yeah. Michael, survivor, CPS fighter, survivor. Of
Michael
CPS
is the co-host of Relatives Fight CPS,
and I'm Cassandra, the co-host for Relatives Fight CPS with Real Talk with Miss G.
I show up every now and again.
Yeah, Michael is my ghost co-host.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Michael.
Thank you guys for having me.
And Darren is not with us today, you guys. He's probably busy, but hopefully we'll see him next week. So I am going to start with a story to all you grandparents and uncles and aunts and sisters and brothers and friends. Some of you guys don't understand the behavior of your action will cause the pain and the heartache in the family. Please understand this. If you're not happy with your family member's choice in relationship, or oftentimes I get a lot of grandparents who retaliate against grandmothers who retaliate against the son's spouse or the son's girlfriend because they think they're the bad choice in their lives. Then what do? Report them to CPS. Once you open Pandora's box, you cannot close it. And you have to understand, CPS, district attorneys, and court pretenders who are court-appointed attorneys and judges, they stand together, okay? So a demon house divided against itself is not going to stand. So they're going to work together for the cause. The cause is the children. Their main goal is not to leave the children with family. Their main goal is to steal the child from the family. But what are they going to do? Give you breadcrumbs. Oh, grandma, I see you're concerned over the grandchild, therefore I'm going to give you the grandchild. No, bullshit. Because oftentimes they leave the grandchild as a temporary replacement with the grandmother. Then they come back and say, oh, we received an anonymous call, right? That the grandmother did this and this and that. So we're going to take the child back from you. They all go to the same training, demonic training schools. They know what they're doing. You cannot sit here and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, because I do. I know exactly what I'm talking about. You guys don't know what you're doing. So if you are retaliating against your son or your daughter's spouse or your son's spouse, you're mistaken to think you're going to get it your way. Okay? So you guys need to understand. Be family. Don't divide yourself from your family, but rather unite together and be a family. Because the kids are the ones suffering. Because all you guys, all the adults, are stupid for behaving in such manner. My main focus is the children. I honestly don't care about anyone else but the kids. But I do care about this, for the kids to be reunited with their families. And the adults need to get it together and stop retaliating against each other. Because once you open Pandora's box to CPS to come in your home, you're fucked. And that's the God honest truth.
It's the fucking truth.
Okay? So you guys can share with me right now what you guys have done. You want to share with me about CPS and about relatives and, siblings and all that.
How that played out in our case in the case that we've had.
It wouldn't necessarily be your case, but Cassandra can go first. Cassandra,
Sure.
What's your opinion on what I just said about relatives retaliating against each other, and what can they do?
I've actually had instances where my relatives have, the father of my children's relative have called CPS on me prior to my actual case that I have now. And they tried to set me up so badly, but thank God that didn't work the first time. But like she said, since they opened Pandora's box on me, basically, I'm guessing that's why I'm in the situation I'm in now. Once they come and they investigate you once, it's like an ongoing thing. It really is.
It's a nightmare.
Because that first time when they called on me, the social worker, thank God, was just she looked at my kids, she laughed and walked away, which I thought was okay, thank God. Because she's seen that my kids did not look or act the way that they intended. She's seen that I wasn't an alcoholic, because they tried to say I was an alcoholic, and I was drunk as soon as I woke up. At the time that the social worker came, I was not drunk, and I just had woken up. My kids had just woken up. My kids, she laughed because they said that I didn't feed my kids, and my daughter at the time was 1.5. And she was the chunkiest little baby ever. And so she laughed and walked away. But after that, then that's when they started coming again and again. And then finally they used those things against me, the times they came before. In this prior case now. And even though they didn't start an investigation or a case on me the prior times from when a family member did call, they used it against me. As in, they try to say they try to implement safety plans or intervene prior to the time that I am now going through. So yeah, they open Pandora's box. People don't realize that shit follows you, basically. It does.
It does. Michael, what's your thoughts on that? Relatives reporting each other.
I think it's fucking bullshit. I think it's it's behavior that is similar to a social worker's behavior and thought process. And that is a fucking a treasure for a social worker. Relatives calling on relatives. And I have an example here. It's been a real emotional day for me. I hate to bring in this like Johnny Depp and fucking Amber Heard thing, but Amber Heard is my ex-wife, dude.
Yeah.
But my ex-wife is worse though because there's a kid involved. So an example of this referral shit and calling CPS would be this is how sick my ex-wife was, dude. Like yeah,
First of all, let me just tell everybody we are so happy Johnny Depp won. You guys,
absolutely.
I was crying, I was in tears. What Michael is telling you is true because I had the opportunity to review his files as well. And every word he's saying is the God honest truth. The retaliation comes from both sides, men and women. Some men do this to their wives so they can avoid paying child support. Some women do this to their husbands so they can collect more child support and get more custody of the child. So there's a lot of reasons why people do what they do. It's maliciously done. When it's maliciously done, you will be exposed. It might not be our timing, but it will happen. Eventually, the truth will come out.
Yep.
Eventually, the truth will come out.
And Al, you're absolutely right,
Yeah.
Georgette. And like Cassandra was saying, they were cool with her the first time, 2 times, whatever it was, but that is still on their record that they will use against you later in a case. So they are essentially building a case against you every time.
Yeah, that's what I exactly. I realized this, like when I started reading my case files and stuff, I was just like, whoa, they basically built a case against me, like throughout the period of time from the first time they had contact to now. And I'm like, well, instead of using it as a good thing, like I didn't have a reason for them to be called, they used it against me as a bad thing, saying that they had to be called and intervene. Like, and I wasn't, but they didn't see anything wrong. So I didn't think that it was going to be used against me in a bad way, but it was. And I was just talking about like that on the last show, what you're talking about, like how that's gold for them. Like, don't sit there and call them and like help them out. Like, are you serious? They could do it on their own. Trust me. CPS got that. Don't help them out.
I want to share something with you guys. And just right before I started the show, I spoke to this grandmother, whatever you want to call her. And I was really upset with how she just literally destroyed her grandkids' lives because of this thought process. Okay. This is what the whole fight was about. The daughter-in-law was saying it's amazing how she had 2 quarters. One quarter was from year 2021. The other quarter was from year 2022. And she was just sharing with her husband in front of her mother-in-law. She said, look at that. They have to picture him facing In God We Trust. And in 2022, his head is facing away from In God We Trust. You know what I mean? Like, In God We Trust is on the back of him, and the 2021 In God We Trust, his face was facing that word, right? So she was upset because she's Christian, and she said, it's like they just completely ignore God. Completely God is ignored. So she was a little bit hot over the subject with her husband, and her husband agreed. The mother-in-law didn't agree with her. So she said to her, because of her opinion, she said, I never trusted you. You're crazy. She said, if my son is not doing anything about it, I will. She called Child Protective Services against her. Telling Child Protective Services that she's Christian, crazy Christian woman, and my grandkids are not safe with her, and I want my grandkids with me. The grandmother was explaining everything to me. She said, I made a mistake. I was wrong. God forgive me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, where are the grandkids? I asked her 3 times, where are the grandkids? Well, the social worker said they're going to place them with me. And then she found that I have a pool without a fence, then they cannot come home with me.
Fuck.
So the grandkids are in a foster home. Then she told me that my daughter-in-law, and she had the audacity to say daughter-in-law, okay, said my daughter-in-law's hearing is on is to terminate her reunification services. And I said, what about your son? She said they will not put him with my son, put the kids with my son, because my son lives with me. So who did the kids lose?
Over a fucking quarter?
Over a quarter. Over 2 quarters. One from year 2021 and the one from year 2022. Yeah. So the president was facing in God's front, and the other one, and the other year like, he was facing away from it. Yeah.
I've totally had this same conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
But I didn't decide to call CPS on them.
But the granddaughter was right. I mean, the daughter-in-law was right. She was only making a statement that the people are turning away from
this
God.
Same exact conversation with somebody. Exact same conversation about the quarter.
Yeah.
But I didn't decide to call CPS on them.
Well,
like, are you out of your goddamn mind?
Yeah, because her mind is twisted. Look, people, I'm not against it, but I'm not saying this to be against grandparents or uncles and aunts. I'm just saying grow up. You don't
absolutely.
Call CPS. You don't call CPS because your granddaughter is making a statement about 2 quarters from 2 different years.
Oh my God.
You have to agree to disagree sometimes. You can't. Go ahead.
How childish can you fucking be?
Yeah.
Like, really, people?
Yeah, that's reverting back to the second grade, you know, like that's fucking. And then look what you have now.
Go tell because you don't agree. Like,
it's that mentality. I'm gonna go tell because I don't agree or I don't like.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I got you. That's, you know, the social workers, you know, have got me in a position like that where that's what they were doing because they got the reaction out of me. And it was kind of like, you know, like that kind of, it was a success for them to do something so fucking horrible to get the reaction they wanted out of me.
Right. And they're going to reap what they sow. They're going to reap what they sow. Yeah. And that's the problem. People don't understand the consequences behind their own actions. And CPS looks at people and laugh at them. They laugh at them because they're like, well, you called us. You called us.
Like, the fact that not only the fact that they're like doing like, you know, you know, like, come on. Like, it blows my mind. Like, how.
But it's real shit. It is real. It is fucking as real as it gets, and people need to understand that, you know, like if anybody could take anything away from any of our discussions is that the shit ain't funny, dude. When it's happening to you, it's fucking horrible. And it's real, you know, it's pathetic. And, you know, I can kind of laugh at certain things now, but when it's happening to you, it's fucking horrible, dude. I mean,
and it feels like really shitty. Like they're trying to play out little fairy tales, like, oh, the boy who cried wolf and shit. Like this is real life, people. Like, you can't find wolf and then expecting to get like.
I know.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And like I said, hearsay is admissible in juvenile dependency court. It is admissible.
Absolutely. Okay. So basically, the dude, the female social worker, can fucking pull something out of the fucking air, write it on a piece of paper, submit it to the court. Well, before that, write the report and then fucking have a supervisor sign off on it and then send it to the fucking court, and it's admissible. You know?
Yep.
Isn't that fucked up? That with no proof of anything at all. Just that is just what is fucking just disgusting, disturbing. Yeah, that's
so lenient.
Oh, they get the benefit of the doubt. The social worker gets the benefit of the fucking doubt every time, dude. It is pathetic. It is horrible.
And, a liar remember this, you guys. I told you guys this before. The the lies spread faster than the truth.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody tells the fucking truth.
Like, for example, a father that's brainwashing his daughters. I'm giving you an example. Or how does he brainwash his daughters? He will give them what they want. Not, give them what they need, what they want, their wants and needs, and then tell them all kinds of crap in a way is done strategically, in a way where it spreads the mother's name so bad out there and lies about what the court says. And the kids believe because they're not in court to hear what the judge had to say.
They're hearing one side.
Right. And he teaches the children what? Oh, don't say I told you, say it's your choice, it's your decision. So I don't get in trouble. And the kids do it. And the mother is thrown under the bus. Literally.
It's a horrible thing. That ties in.
And nobody sees what narcissistic behavior is in the courtroom.
Absolutely
not. So fucking sad that our judges don't understand how a narcissist behave in the courtroom.
Well, I don't. They either don't understand it, or they fucking encourage it. That's the fucking problem.
Correct.
Is they perpetrate the lies. These judges in the courts
and the minor counsels too. They don't know. They don't know. They can't tell if the father is this and that. They didn't know. They don't know.
Horrible.
They don't know, but yet they're minor counsels, and supposedly they study psychology and all this. Give me a fucking break. Even a psychiatrist, a qualified psychiatrist.
Okay.
No, wait. Let me finish. A qualified psychiatrist would tell you this: it's very hard to detect a narcissist. You have to do hours and hours of evaluations for you to detect a narcissist.
You need the data. You need the interviews. It's a process. You just can't automatically. Just say.
Some people are gifted and they have discernment that they can tell, especially when you lived with a narcissist. You can sniff them. You can literally sniff them because now you know. But when people don't know and they're clueless, it's very hard to detect a narcissist because they're clever.
They are. They are. They set little traps, kind of, and it's a gradual thing. It doesn't happen because everything's great for a while, and then you start to see some things, but then you kind of don't want to believe it. The longer you're in that relationship,
that part,
then
they pull you
the harder it is to want to believe that.
That's very nice. It's very true.
Like when I was in a relationship with a narcissist. So like I've been through the whole cycle with this guy. Okay. Like he treated me like a fucking princess. Like he was just so nice to me.
You're good to
did
be
everything for me. And then all of a sudden he started cheating on me and lying to me and then making me feel like he was sorry about it. And then bring me back in and then just do the whole process over again. And then make me feel crazy. Like it's your fault. Like but he didn't realize that I'm smarter than what I look, I guess. And I caught him on all his lies and he didn't like that. So he used to try to abuse me. So
that's the worst thing.
He didn't realize that I was smart. Like he thought I was just another one of those dumb bimbos that he usually is with. And he didn't think I was smart and pretty like cunning, like I could.
Sure.
And I know my way around a Google account. Okay. Let's just say that.
Honestly, but no, a narcissist, what's funny about narcissism is that they will choose somebody smart, right? Especially somebody with a title. They need to use that person. If, for example, they will marry a judge, a district attorney, think about it. They need that title. They need that title because that saves them from all the shit that they do. And
it's all about appearance, it's all about the way you're perceived.
Because he used me for his appearance. He really did. Because he was like going through some legal issues and he seen that I had a clean record. I'm a good girl. Like I don't do bad things. I had my kids and he had a daughter and he wanted me to raise his daughter and look like a happy little family. And and he basically brung me all the way down bad throughout this whole process.
But I bet you anything, if you're a judge, he would have made sure. He manipulates you slowly.
And I actually helped him gain his business because he was trying to start his own business. I actually did financial shit for him, and I made, and as soon as he broke up with me, and as soon as we stopped, it was all bad for him. So he lost everything.
But see, like Michael's old relationship, the previous one.
Oh my God.
When I read his reports, I was like, if I was a social worker, I'd be like fighting for that man to have his kids.
Oh, dude, it's horrible. Like
fighting for that man to have his kids. I still can't process. I mean, there's so many victims out there, a lot of victim people out there. But what they're doing to innocent parents is so sad, so very sad. That we have one of our callers last week. She said, well, I asked God to help me and he's not helping me. I said, no, God is helping you. But how did you get to where you are? And she said, I married the wrong person. I said, we all do. We all get involved with the wrong person because we're naive sometimes. I said, did you learn anything from it? She said, no, Miss Georgette, because I ended up marrying a worse person again.
Oh my God. What do you do at that point? You know,
what do you do at that point? Exactly. And she said, and God did try to tell me through people not to marry him. And I did. Now I'm dealing with the consequences. I said, exactly. I said, that doesn't mean God is not with you. And a lot of times people lose faith in God because of their circumstances. A lot of times.
God can't help you if you don't help yourself.
God he can only. That has nothing to do. No, that's not it at all.
He suggests.
I feel like that's how you need to help yourself before anybody can help you. Really, if you don't do things for yourself and you don't see, and show that you're doing something I don't know. I feel like if you're not doing something for yourself, then you don't. Then it's
I disagree with you on that. All God wants you to do is to go to him, have a relationship with him. God always says, ask and you shall receive, seek and you will find. And people don't ask and don't seek. People only go to God when shit hits the fan.
God, please save me.
When everything is great, they don't go to God. It's true. They don't go to God when everything is great. They forget God. They start going to clubbing. They start, doing,
the wrong things.
The wrong things. And then again, when shit hits the fan, who do we go to? God. God doesn't operate that way. You're either with him or you're not with him. He's not a wishy-washy type of God. It's either you're 100% with God or you're not. I mean, period, really. So God didn't say, come to me with a religion. God said, believe in him, not the religion. But
but I just feel like if you don't help yourself by getting into the Lord or with the Lord, you're not, that's what I'm saying. If you don't help yourself heal and be one and with him, it's not going to work.
Right. No, I understand that.
That's what I'm meaning. If you're not going to do it for yourself, to have a relationship with him or in any type of, because, like I said, I research religions and stuff like that, but because I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person. But like I said, if you don't do that for yourself, if you don't find peace with yourself to do that, then it's just not gonna work.
It's not gonna fly. It's not gonna
Not gonna fly. I have a different perspective. I think God is looking out for us, and he puts the signs out there for us to, when it's kind of like, I want to say an inner voice, but I think it's him, kind of saying all right, don't do this. Because before you make a bad choice, I hope most people, I don't know, but I don't think all people do, but most people know that it's, should I do this or should I not do this? And I think that conscience is God kind of trying to steer you to the right side, to whatever side it is, the correct side. And it's up to us to make that decision, you know. And I think, but he puts, I don't know, a positive doubt in it, if that makes sense, if that even makes sense, a positive doubt in our heads when we want to take the easy way. He gives us the right way. And so we have a choice, and it's just up to us. And I got to say myself, I've ignored that several times, and then I fucking paid the consequence pretty much every time, you know? So that's my perspective.
Yeah, that's also true. I feel like it's another like play in it. Like it really is, because like, you know, the difference, you know, bad and good, and like, yeah, you're right. You're completely right.
I think it's applicable. I think it's applicable, and I think the other part is what having a relationship with God, you know, and that's very personal, you know.
It is.
You talk to him on your time or his, whenever the time is right, you know. That's the beauty of it. You can talk to him, not when, like Miss Georgette said, not when you're fucked and you're like, God, please, you know, not in that situation, but you know, throughout the day or whenever you feel that you need to talk to him, you know, like I think that's the personal relationship that is not, that a book can't teach you, you know.
And that's the thing too. I want to address something very important. We had a case actually that the CPS worker took the children from a pastor and his wife, which really blew my mind. So what happened was, an atheist told the pastor, I'm an atheist, and you know, that's in Ohio, by the way, guys. And I'm an atheist and I want to know God. So the pastor welcomed him to church. The atheist noticed that there's two children, a boy and a girl, you know, a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. He went to church for the first 6 months. I apologize. For the first 6 months. Then the atheist guy called CPS against the pastor and his wife and told them that they're forcing their kids to go to church, which is not true. They have numerous videos. The kids are loving church. The kids are praying. The kids are in Sunday school. The kids are active in church. They play with other kids, ball, and they have like soccer team and all kinds of stuff. And then CPS went and stole the children from the pastor and his wife. CPS stole the children from a pastor and his wife because the atheist person said they're forcing the kids to go to church.
It's an excuse. That's another thing people need to realize, that anything can be used as an excuse to take your fucking kids. Something positive, like the kids enjoying, you know, Sunday school and being in that environment with the church. It's all positive, right? But they turn the organization CP, Child Protective Services, will fucking twist it some way to and use it as an excuse to fucking snatch up your kids.
I actually have a story about that.
That's not evidence to take children. They're not traumatized. They're not abused. This is just hearsay. It's all fucking hearsay, people. Hearsay. Go ahead.
The second time CPS got called on me, I guess it was from the school or somebody in the school, but my kids went to summer school, right? It was the end of summer school. There was 1 week left. I called the school, said, do my kids have to attend summer school? Is it like mandatory? Or if they miss the last week of summer school, is it going to be a bad effect on them? They said, no, it's voluntary. You don't have to have them in the last week of school, of that summer school, mind you. Mm-hmm. And I called to make sure, because my kids were going to church camp. And the last week of summer school, it was the week that they were supposed to be going to church camp. Well, they go to church camp, and then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, CPS comes to my door and says they were missing summer school, and they were missing school. And she tried to use that as an excuse of them missing school, summer school, as taking my kids.
Right.
And I was all like, oh, really? Well, I called the school, and they told me that it was voluntary for summer school, and they didn't have to go. And she's like, oh, well, what were they doing on the last week of summer school? I said, well, they went to church camp. They went to a church camp. And I was about to get my kids taken because my kids wanted to go to church camp.
Wow.
That's just fucking sick, dude. That is just a horrible thing because, during summer, kids can, they could just hang out at home and,
Right.
In front of the TV, or, in that case, it sounds like they were staying active. They did to an elective summer school, and then they elected to go somewhere else for a week or two, whatever it is. And they use that week or two as an excuse. I mean, that is just, that just goes to show how unsound the fucking
mind you,
system
like,
is.
I don't know a bad parent or somebody who's going to like tell their kids like to go to summer school and to go to church camp. Like just saying, like, I had my kids going to summer school, I had my kids going to church camp, I had my kids in activities, I took my kids places, I did things with my children. Like
Socializing, yeah. All positive,
exactly.
right?
Positive things.
Yeah,
and
but
now that my kids have been taken, they're saying that my kids have social anxiety and
that part right there. Why? Because they caused it. They caused it.
Yeah.
And then they blame it on the parent. Hey, parent, you're the reason why. No, motherfuckers, they're not the reason why. It's you.
My kids have never been a social anxiety.
CPS, you are the reason why. The Department of Child Services, DCFS, also known as CPS, are a protected empire built on just kidnapping children, period.
Absolutely. And destroying
families. Destroying families.
There are more statistics saying that foster care is way worse than leaving a kid in a situation. Like, their situations that they're taking kids for are way less worse than the foster care system.
Wait.
For sure.
Way less traumatizing.
Stop.
Their statistics.
Stop, guys, stop. Pause for a second. Stacy Smith, I want to read what Stacy said. It's important. New bill released in Arizona says parents have to have access to school interviews. I'm assuming parents have to have access to school interviews when social workers are there. Am I right, Stacy?
Yes.
She said it's a small win to a large victory.
Yes, she is right. I read about that.
Okay, so only in Arizona? That's fucked up too. It should be nationwide. It should be nationwide, not just Arizona.
It has to do with the state statutes and stuff like that. It's different in every state. And that's the fucked up thing about it. Things are more lenient in other states. I've also been reading about that. Like, it sucks. Like, our Parental Rights Bill Act or whatever that we're trying to do in California has a lot of the stuff has already happened in other states, but just not for us.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. I don't know if you guys have had an expert in dealing with the
to Arizona. I seriously want to go live in Arizona now because that's crazy.
Yeah, we need
Colorado. In Colorado, they have a free range parenting where you don't have to be outside supervising your kids every fucking second of the day when they're playing outside.
I know, that's crazy. Like, that is a huge red
Colorado.
Flag.
Like, they're actually letting parents not actually have to be there, like how we were raised when we were kids. Like, parents weren't always there when we were playing outside.
Oh, hell no.
And now people are afraid to let their kids play outside because they don't want CPS called on them. But in Colorado, they can't do that. They can't call CPS if the kid's playing outside by themselves because they actually have free range parenting.
So that in turn, has a kid that is like, I don't know, that's almost traumatic in itself. A kid having to be watched at all times and not being able to kind of experience.
The article that I found about that, a child actually went to a council meeting and said, like, I'm afraid to go outside and play by myself because I don't want to be taken away from my mommy and daddy.
The threat is real. You know, the threat is real. These social workers, you know, the empire as it is, has it is exactly that, is an empire that instills fear in parents and the
children.
nation. The fucking apparently what I think one of our first shows we did, they're going worldwide. That is fucking sick. You know,
look what Stacy wrote, guys. She said Harvard law studies done on the brain damage CPS causes during the removal. The brain damage that CPS causes during the children's removal is so bad. That's why so many mothers have a psychiatric report saying return the kids immediately to the mom, and the father should be investigated. What does CPS do? Say the psychiatrist is biased. We're gonna leave the kids with the abuser.
Or they don't put the fucking report in the fucking. They don't put it in the report.
They don't.
I know.
And they say that their psychiatrist that they send the mother to is biased.
It's a sick fucking thing. And then like
they and screwed up in every way, and they blame who? Who does the abuser blame? The victim.
Yep.
And our constitutional rights are just shit on, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah, well, that's another thing.
Basically, our 14th Amendment is shit on.
Pretty much. We don't have rights. People think when people talk to me, it's so sad I laugh. And they say, Miss G, you are the same way you are when you're on the phone with us too. I'm like, exactly. Because it makes no sense. I said, you honestly think we have rights? Well, it's in the Constitution. I said, then why do they violate our rights? I said, what did I tell you guys before? They put rules in place to violate your fucking rights.
There's that aspect of it, and then a lot of us we're, you know, I hate to say it, we're myself included, ignorant to the fact that there are these statutes and these rights and all that kind of shit. Like,
and the statutes are different in every state. You know? Like I said, there's
and then it varies.
Different. Very much so. Like if you don't know your statutes in your state, then you cannot fight them breaking your rights. You can't fight that in court unless you know for a fact what and it's worded different in every state. Correct. Sure. Every state is worded differently. So when you read something, you better know what it's talking about. There's also a thing called legalese. When you don't know the legal terms, you don't know what it says. It could mean totally something different than what the heck it says. True. I've been also studying this. So I'm telling you guys, like, you got to research, you got to do your stuff. You got to know what you're talking about before you can go even anywhere near fighting CPS by yourself or with an attorney or with your public defender. If you want to try to use them, like, you got to know. And you gotta you need to do research. Be smart when you walk into that courtroom, or you will get shit on. You'll
get fucked up. You'll get your ass whooped. Murdered. You know? Yeah. So yeah, that's very true. And then that's a beautiful point. And then Mr. Davis in his videos, he says this shit all the time. Like, you can read the stuff, but you have to look at your fucking state law, you know, and then look at cases and see how it's used, you know. Just because you interpret it one way doesn't mean that in your district, county, whatever, it varies so much. So you have to find an applicable, exactly, a case that is, because one thing can mean something in a different county. The same thing can mean something in a different jurisdiction, county, whatever it is. So you have to find, you know, applicable, the way it was used in your particular section. It's very, very time consuming, and like, you have to really focus and you don't read the thing one time and get it. You have to fucking read it multiple times and then find an applicable case that worked in your.
And I didn't know there was different districts and stuff like that. Like, when I first started, I didn't know there was different districts. There was different statutes in different states. I thought the United States was like a whole, you know, like supposed to be. But yeah, and it really blew my mind, like how different things are in different states. Like, how long of a period of time do you have until your emergency removal hearing in different states? Like, I think in Montana it's 72 hours, or maybe it's 10 days, and then in Colorado it's 72 hours or something like that. Like you have,
and a lot of times A lot of
it's
times
crazy.
those are violated, but people don't know, you know, and they're not going to tell you, you know, and by they, I mean, the social worker, your fucking public defender that's supposed to be helping you, are not going to inform you of that. Because like Miss G said, Miss
And
G,
another thing,
it's all of them working together against you, you know?
another
So
thing is pay attention to dates, people. Pay attention to
Sure.
dates. That could really help you is if you pay attention to dates, because if they're doing emergency removal and they have a date set like way prior to what they're trying to say the emergency removal was, how come they didn't do the emergency removal on that day if it was imminent risk and near danger? That will totally shut them down. If
So
you
the
have
moral,
an attorney.
the moral of this particular topic we're discussing is, you know, you don't wait. You don't.
Uh-oh. But while he's coming back on, I want to tell everybody this. In Nevada, they said, Stacy also added, if you don't want anyone to interview your kids, you can file something with the school. That's the new law in Nevada. And also, Bruna Mello, I need help. Baby girl, you and I spoke on March 17th of 2021. I remember you very well. I spoke to you about your case. I'm not sure what's going on with your case now, but I can only imagine. But you know how to get a hold of me, Bruna. You can call the office and we can continue and see what else is happening on your case. Like I said, I haven't spoken to you since March 17, 2021. And I remember that date very well. She said she doesn't remember. I do. I remember very well. As a matter of fact, I have notes in my and you said that your case is in Miami, Florida. I remember. So, like I said, if you need to speak with me, Bruna, you're more welcome to call me. You know how to get a hold of me. Thank you very much. But Stacy, if the mothers or the parents don't want anyone to interview their kids, I am not sure if that's valid for the state. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's in the law. That'd be great. I think that would be an awesome law. If in the law states that the state of California, I mean the state of Nevada, is not allowed to be involved in interviewing a child without the mother's permission, that's great. I think that's how it should be with everybody. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to have a familiar, well, you know, you're not going to get a familiar setting every time, but you want to have, you know, especially for a child, you want to have a little bit of comfort, you know, there, you know, especially, yeah, because you can intimidate an adult, you know, in that setting, let alone a child.
Intimidating a child. They want to intimidate the children without their parents present. But you don't understand. That's why they go to the parents and say, to the judge and say, oh, the child said. The child didn't say that, you depleted snack of shit. The child didn't say that. You know, they lie. They lie. They lie. I mean,
is that even a thing?
What? And Michael
Like,
knows.
can they like ask your child questions like just off the bat without your consent?
Yes, they do.
They do
but can they?
Do it.
Can they? Are they allowed to?
That's a good question. You know, that's where we'd have to do the research to know for sure. But regardless if we know or not,
because I've been told both. I've been told yes, and I've been told no.
They go to the same demonic school. If I want to sell you a car, a piece of shit car.
So yeah, Berkeley.
Am I gonna put on the ad it's a piece of shit car? Buy it, or am I gonna say this car runs great?
You're gonna tell the person everything they want to fucking hear, you know,
so
for your own personal gain.
There you go.
Did you hear that I found out where they go to school at?
Where?
Berkeley.
Who?
The social workers.
I don't believe it.
That's a prestigious.
I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you. I just
Bullshit.
found it
I don't
right
believe
before
it.
the show.
I don't believe it. I don't believe
University of California State, Berkeley.
Yeah, with the fucking demonic emblem that they all worship, dude. What the fuck, man? That's crazy.
Oh my God.
That kind of makes sense.
Oh my God.
That makes sense.
Oh my God.
Hey guys, real quick.
Isn't Berkeley where attorneys go to also?
Where?
Berkeley?
Oh, probably. Or Tehama County School of fucking the demonic art of destroying families, man. Like the county, like I didn't even live in the county where the case happened. I was not involved with the incident or any fucking thing like that.
Yeah.
Somehow I got fucking everything happened so quick, and but this particular county is just it's something special, man. It is very special. And I can't really go into too many specifics, especially with how close I am to where I have a hearing and shit like that. But like, yeah, it's something I would like to discuss.
Every county that has CPS is nothing but a demonic entity anywhere, everywhere. So
A machine.
If your county is no different than Monterey Park, than San Bernardino, than Riverside, than San Francisco, it doesn't matter. Wherever there's CPS, it's a demonic house. It's a demonic entity.
I gotta give them credit.
I don't even get how
the fact that they are a well-oiled fucking machine, dude. They are very fucking good and efficient. I mean, I'm talking to Judge,
Don't be fooled. All the counties work together. Don't be fooled. They all work together.
They're not efficient. Some of them can't even spell correctly. They're not efficient.
That's the funny thing. Like I was looking at this report, the recent report that I got. This guy made all kinds of determinations about me.
Yeah.
And I never even met them. I had never met the fucker in person.
Right.
Just maybe 3 or 4 conversations over the phone. And then after he wrote the report and then we had a hearing, I was in the little personal room because I didn't want to be where the attorneys and clients meet.
Right.
And then the fucker comes in the room and I'm like, oh, hey, like, how's it going? So, I'm such and such. I'm like, oh, hey, I got up and shook his hand. Gooey fucking hand, like he's never even touched anything that a man would whatever. He had gooey fucking, just the grossest hand I ever felt in my life, with a weak handshake.
Right.
And then he like muttered some stuff and then mentioned my ex-wife, and because of a restraining order, that it was better. He just wanted to make sure I was comfortable in the room that I was in. And I was like, well, yeah, that's why I'm in here, dude. Like, I don't understand why you came in here.
A setup. You know what he's going to say?
Absolutely.
The father, I had to put the father in that room, not say that the father chose to be in that room. He's going to say it differently, Mike.
And he wanted me to react after he'd written all that shit about me.
Right.
He wanted me to react in a negative way and tell him to fuck off or whatever it is. But I did not, because I can't do that, like, at this stage of the case. But it was what is it? Obvious at this point, that was the intended reaction. So I didn't give that to them. And I got to thank them, because they, after delaying a particular service, anger management for me. So it was, what they had me in initially was domestic violence services. And that was from the beginning of the case. And then I went and took the assessment. It was supposed to be an assessment, but then it was like, I'm signing the packet and shit. And I'm like, this isn't a fucking assessment. This is like, me signing, admission to guilt and stuff like that for domestic violence. I'm like, I'm not fucking signing that. So then I turned it into the guy, and then he calls me back a couple days later and he's all, you didn't sign a bunch of this stuff. And I'm like, well, why would I, dude? Like, you're basically fucking telling me I'm like a domestic violence perpetrator, like a bad person.
But don't they tell you, if you don't sign this, you're not going to get your kids back? But then they come back and say, but you signed this.
Exactly.
Now do you see how they trick you? Do you see how they trick you?
Oh, they tried to trick me there, dude. And this is what fucking really pissed them off. So I didn't say fuck you. I had a discussion with the guy, and he's like, well, you need to talk to your social worker. So I did, and then she snapped at me, and she's like, wow, it's court ordered. So 4 months later, then they're like, oh, we're going to change your services to anger management. So this all started in January. This is in May that they're going to change the service. And you do the 6-month hearing the following month. So this is in June. And the judge orders, just go take an assessment. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. That's fair. So I take the assessment with the guy, and he's like, I've never done, he didn't know what to do because they don't assess people. They fucking just automatically enroll them in the program. So anyway, we did the assessment, and he told me, he's like, you know what, dude, you live in a different county. I would go there just and see what kind of services they offer. So I did that. So anyway, so through that, the department was like, we'll pay for it. Because I'm like, dude, I don't have $100 and whatever bucks to do the assessment fee and shit. Oh, the department will pay for it. The department will pay for it. So this goes on all the way through October. And then the fucking social worker writes a letter to the court stating, oh, I've never even gone in there to take an assessment and blah, blah, blah. And which I had gone in there twice, but then the department hadn't set up the payment for, to complete the assessment for the anger management. And so that was a blatant lie by the social worker, delaying me from fucking completing the service.
Right.
So, so that's October. And then in December, I had the proof that I went in there a few times. And this is after the status report and the fucking 12-month hearing. So I emailed the fucking, the mediator of the CFTs. And I'm like, Megan's been fucking delaying my services for a year. Here's the proof that I've been in there. And then the next day, the payment's set up. And then now I can fucking start taking the fucking class. But anyway, so that's just an example of how they will, stretch out your shit and then use it against you. And then there's no consequence,
right.
Unless you bring it up.
And then that's wasting your time. Because there's
yeah.
They say at the beginning of our show, there's a fine, timeline. There's only a little bit of time for you to reunify.
Right.
And they waste your time.
Exactly.
So that way you don't get to reunify because you're trying and your services run out and you can't do it.
But there's that aspect of it.
That's right. That's right.
But then the social worker's right that you're not compliant when you absolutely have been. So not only are you limited amount of time, but then they're painting a picture to the social worker's painting a picture to the court that you're not compliant, you're defiant, you're just a piece of shit person, basically. So it's a very tricky game, and the game is not to give in to the reaction that the social workers are trying to draw out of you, which is going to be a negative fuck you or whatever like that. So you just have to stay composed. And I was going to say, so after all this shit, the anger management class was amazing. I loved it. It was very great, and it was only benefited me against them, so it's going to work. It has worked to their detriment, because they, the social worker, like that instance I was talking about, after the guy never even met me, never even discussed domestic violence, labeled me as a domestic violence perpetrator, what the fuck, right? But, the instance there at the courtroom where he comes in and, I never met him before and then wants to shake my hand, has no basis for coming in at all. The intent was to draw me out. But, through that class, it helped me realize that that's what he was trying to do. And it actually benefited me, the dickheads. So,
yeah, but again, they make it look so bad. I mean, but they make
very
it
hurtful.
Look so bad that you're in that class because you're this terrible person, that you're this bad person, you're all of that. I mean, this whole crap, man, I'm telling you, they are the one who need to go to parenting classes. They're the ones who actually need to go to rehab classes.
Anger management.
And anger management classes, all of them motherfuckers who actually have the audacity to judge a parent in pain.
Exactly. I had a CFT meeting. I had a CFT meeting with one of with the social worker, my daughter, of course, and whoever else is on her CFT team or whatever. I don't know any of those people. I just know myself and my daughter.
They're in it together. They are a team. That CFT mediator is on the side of the fucking social worker, dude.
Okay,
for
so
sure.
my social worker, the social worker, I guess, is the mediator, and I don't know, like, because they got my social worker, the therapist that they're saying that my daughter needs, the group home that my daughter's at, one of my daughters is at, not a whole CTF meeting with both my children. They're separate. So, and then me, and this psychiatrist is like trying to say, like, my daughter needs this, my daughter needs that. And they're trying to take my daughter's cell phone away from her so she doesn't have contact with me anymore. Basically, I think that's what they're trying to do.
Of course.
But,
the less contact, the better. Yeah, for them.
The social worker is all getting mad at her because she's not getting mad at her. Yes, getting mad at her. And the way he's talking to her, I don't agree with. So I'm like, I really don't appreciate the way you're scolding my daughter. Like, I don't know who you think you are, but you're nothing to my daughter except a social worker. Can you please stop? And he yells at me on the phone in front of everybody, like, and we're supposed to keep calm at these meetings. And I was perfectly calm. And I just told him, well, I think you've changed your tone quite a bit since we started. And he's like, I haven't changed my tone. And from the time we had that little disagreement to the end of the phone conversation, his tone and his voice changed dramatically. And it just, like, I actually recorded that call.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
Or don't tell anybody.
I didn't. I just recorded that moment because I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't tripping. Like, I knew he changed his tone.
Of course he did.
I don't want to discuss what you did. That's nobody's business. Okay, let's just leave it at that. But I have to end the show now, guys. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next week.
And just get warmed up. No.
Well, we also have a new timing for the show, you guys. We decided what time we're going to do it now. It's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Instead of having 3 shows a day, it's going to be something divided to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And have you guys decided what time we're going to do the show?
I don't think so. I thought 4. I think 4 because I think Darren said 4 too.
Darren said 4 or Michael?
No, Darren said 4. That's what Grace said.
Okay, what about you, Michael? Is 4 o'clock going to work for you?
Yeah, it worked really well today. Yeah, so I think that's okay for now. I can do that for now. Yeah.
Okay, so not 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Then let's go for it. 4 o'clock it is.
Cool.
All right. So we'll advertise for the new hours, you guys, and the new days for the shows. God bless you all. Love you all. I will talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Later, guys.
Later.